You're looking at a typical breakfast served at a correctional facility in Oklahoma. Hot cereal, hard-boiled eggs, some potatoes, 2 slices of toast, a fortified fruit drink, milk, and the option of coffee. There are a lot of carbs, but not much protein, fiber, or vitamins. A lot of prisons serve fortified powdered drinks, often sweetened with aspartame to make up for the lack of nutrients, but most people don't drink them. By the way, an average prison meal costs around $3. Here's lunch at a detention center in Seal Beach, California. A couple of hot dogs, some potatoes, mac and cheese, green beans, and water. In a national study of prison food, 93% of incarcerated people surveyed reported feeling hungry between meals, and 94% said they weren't able to eat enough to feel full. And finally, there's dinner, which could consist of white rice, baked beans, cornbread, peas, applesauce, and water. It's another high-carb, low-nutrient meal. Eating meals high in sugar, salt, and refined carbs that lack protein, fiber, and essential vitamins can lead to physical issues. Many people leave prison with lasting health problems like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and anemia. And poor quality food does more than just physical harm. Research shows that nutritional deficiencies can contribute to behavioral and mental issues, including heightened aggression, brain fog, and depression.
A cold cell and no freedom. But the Mikes of this country face another, more insidious kind of punishment.
I would say that I have about approximately $9,000 in debt.
I have about $30,000 in debt.
Yeah, $23,000.
30 grand or so.
We know what you're thinking. Criminals should pay fines for their crimes. Fair enough. But this story is about the non-stop barrage of absurd fees and excessive costs that pummel people moving through the criminal justice system. If you want a society with less crime, less homelessness, and fewer broken families, then get your calculators out. We're going to show you what a punishment on top of a punishment looks like. Mike's debt starts accumulating the day he's arrested. His bail? Costs will be here. To get out of jail, Mike has to pay 10%. His girlfriend scrapes it together by pawning her jewelry. That's the running total. It'll be up here. In 3 minutes, you'll see how this number builds into an insurmountable debt. Next, Mike's lawyer. The Constitution guarantees Mike a public defender, but it says nothing about it being free. And don't forget the $40 filing charge.
The court hereby sentences you to a term of incarceration.
Mike gets a 5 to 6 year sentence and a bill for some ridiculous court costs, including fees for court automation and document storage. He also gets hit with mandatory contributions to the Jail Medical Costs Fund, the State Police Operations Assistance Fund, and a bunch of other funds he's never heard of. Just a reminder, these charges are not the fines people pay for their crimes. These are predatory administrative fees that lurk in the margins of the judiciary process. To pay down his debt, Mike lands a job in the prison kitchen. Unfortunately, he only gets paid 42 cents an hour. If he continues to work for 5 years in this kitchen, he'll earn $4,368. But Mike only sees half of those wages. The prison garnishes the rest to pay down his fees and fines, including, get this, his room and board. No joke, in many states, prisoners can be charged for their accommodations. Mike's fee works out to about 60 cents a day. 60 cents times 365 days in a year, times 5 years. To keep sane, he stays in touch with his girlfriend and son. At 14 cents a minute, 4 30-minute calls a week cost Mike about $17, or $4,368 across a 5-year sentence. Video calls? No way. Those are more. Mike can't afford them. But let's be real. His girlfriend is footing the bill. She makes a monthly deposit into Mike's prison account. Of course, there's a transfer fee for those too. To keep the money flowing, she moves in with her mom and takes a second job at the dollar store. In fact, these costs are largely shouldered by family members, and many of them go into debt trying to keep up.
I don't know how I'm ever going to pay for all this stuff in my whole life. I feel like they've set me up for failure.
I have been trying to get this paid off since 2014.
The first thing that I have to focus on when I go back into society is how I'm gonna pay my debts and my fines.
A lot of people say that's how the system gets you. You know, when you're in the system, you're trapped and stuck in the system.
I definitely feel trapped.
Oh, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. I've been stuck like this for 7 years.
Debt destroys credit. Debt makes it much harder to rent an apartment, to find a job, to pay child support, and put food on the table.
My grandfather is about 80 years old. He's had to go back to work to help me pay my court fees and fines. And as well as my grandmother, she has been using her Social Security check to help out as well.
You would literally, once you get released, I mean, you have your court fines and fees that you have to cover. Failure to pay those, you're almost obligated to end up back in here. And serve time for not paying those. So it's almost like a double jeopardy.
Many people can end up getting dragged back to prison for failure to pay their criminal justice debt. Families fracture, and poverty worsens. And then, this happens.
It tempts you or it leads you into making poor choices just to make more money and try to get extra income or funds, and you do something illegal.
I really had to turn to what I knew best, and that was something illegally.
Yes, I've committed crimes to pay off debt.
Son of